Anyway, so we have some things to talk about. Some marvelous things. Clarissa?
So we're back. Tiff is in her rightful place, driving the car.
That's right, and don't you forget it.
No, I was gonna say no chance of
Forgetting it?
hitting a curb, but I don't know.
I was gonna say knock on wood, where's some wood? Anywhere.
So I don't got no wood grain in my car, Tiff.
I know, gosh. What kind of a car is this? No, I'm just kidding. I actually
What type of human doesn't have wood grain in their car?
I know, sheesh.
Well,
imagine they used to actually have that pretty normally in some of these like bougie cars.
Oh yeah. It's like the wood grain.
Do they still have that?
Yeah. Remember, my sister had a PT Cruiser once. I had wood grain in it, Christine.
Oh, PT
I always bring up
Cruisers?
Christine in these. We need to have her on a show.
Man, PT. Oh yeah, I know. How does she? Well, okay, I guess.
Okay, there's a fruit fly in here, and it's driving me nuts.
So get it.
If I randomly do this, it's trying to get it. Well, because at the restaurant, at the drive-thru, did you see how many fruit flies were on the radio? Not the radio, the speaker. It was like a breeding ground.
I did not see those.
Oh, I noticed it.
Yeah, there were a few times where, like, the other day there was like a moth in the van, and I was like swerving all over the street, and the kids were terrified. But I knew what I was
swerving
doing.
Or the mouth. The mouth.
They didn't know why I was swerving. I was just like randomly screaming and like swerving.
Thinking mom's finally lost it.
I was making sure I wasn't going to swerve into a car. But, you know, my problem is like I would swerve, but why am I swerving? Like, you can't swerve to avoid the moth that's inside of the car. Like, that. Oh.
I got it.
That sounded like it hurt.
A little bit.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. But I'm pretty sure I got it. I looked up and it was right there.
Gosh. Woo!
God help me. Sorry, did I scare you?
No, I was just trying to think of a way to make that like a really good parable for something spiritual and deep, but I'm like, I can't think of anything.
Nope, just hit the roof real hard.
You can't swerve the car to avoid the moth that's inside of the car, guys. If the sin's in your heart, I don't know.
I mean, you can't swerve your life around your sin.
Yeah,
you just gotta smack it out.
Smack it. If your right hand caused you to sin, smash it against the dashboard really hard. Just kidding.
Minus it was the roof.
Oh,
but it can be the dashboard.
Huh?
It can be a dashboard too.
Good.
I was really hoping that I got it because I don't see it.
I haven't seen it since.
I haven't seen it since either.
You fruit fly murderer.
Well, Moses was a murderer, so God still used him.
Touche. So we're going to be talking about when it's okay to murder people. No, I'm just kidding.
Never okay.
Never.
Well, never mind. I was going to segue in because, you know, we have war and stuff.
That's true.
But is that war? Is that murder like self-defense? Okay.
I'd say that's self-defense.
Same.
Unless you're a sniper. Just kidding. No, I still think that's self-defense.
Yeah. You're defending yourself and others as a sniper, I feel like.
Anyway, so we have some things to talk about. Some marvelous things. Clarissa? Oh, what's that thing that you have back there in the back of the...
Oh, okay, but I meant to take it out, but I totally forgot. My manager and his wife, their son, he'll be 1 in the next coming month, so they didn't need the bassinet anymore, and I found out last week that I am expecting...
What are you expecting, Clarissa?
To be a homeowner.
Oh!
And another child.
You're expecting to be a child. Me too.
I'm expecting to be a child. I'm very early still. Literally like 5 weeks pregnant. I'll be 6 weeks pregnant on Thursday. So by the time this launches, I'll be 6 weeks along. And I know typically people wait till they're 12 weeks along to share the news far and wide. But, and I've been kind of conflicted on it. But also like, I've been like praying hard for another child, and
she has been.
Like I've been wanting another child for a long time. Goalie's been pulled for a while. Sorry to phrase it like that. So it hasn't been we have been trying, but it hasn't been we haven't been trying. But
What'd you say?
Goalie's been pulled. The goalie was pulled. Like, there was nothing preventing the goal to be scored.
So why are we talking about soccer now?
Because I'm saying that we weren't trying for a child, but we weren't not trying from the child, meaning I was on birth control.
Kidding.
Goodbye. If you don't.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm 12 today. Okay.
It's okay.
I'm trying to be really
We're
mature
called to
about
have
this.
childlike hearts, so you can be childlike.
So I can be immature sometimes.
Yes, but we're supposed to be mature in our faith. Instead of having milk, you need to have
Yes.
solids. But also, I think sometimes it's okay to
concur.
just want, he needs milk. You know that saying?
Me
He
needs milk?
No. Not me. Like, he needs some milk. I'll show you a video
I
on
just
it.
envisioned Cookie Monster, like...
Me needs milk. Why do I always default to, like, what is even that? But...
So, baby! Yay!
Yay.
I'm so excited!
I know, it's very exciting.
And it was just really cool how you found out, too, because it was like Friday you looked at a house, Saturday you put in an offer, and then also Saturday...
It was like, surprise!
Yeah, because and you you weren't even going to take a pregnancy test either.
No, I was like, no. And you told me like Friday when I didn't start because, you know, we're synced up. So the second Tiffany starts, I start a day later. And I'm like, man, still haven't started. Haven't started. She said, you better get a test. And I said, well, I'm just going to wait. And then I got a test. Because my curiosity got the best of me.
Well, we're yeah, like we synced up, and then you're so like normal, like you're.
Thank you.
No, what?
Most people tell me I'm not normal.
Whoops, you're not right. You're not. I did not mean to use that word to describe you at all. But just kidding.
Oh man.
Regular is the word I was trying to.
Yeah, on the dot, 7 o'clock, on the drop top.
That's so cool how God designed us. Like, I want to know, and maybe some of you guys who are listening to this know the answer to this question. I want to know why we sync up as women. Like, just for everyone who doesn't know what I'm talking about, maybe if there's any guys, hopefully there's no guys listening to this. Maybe if you're a guy and you're listening to this, totally fine. But you're going to probably hear some TMI. But God designed us to where if you're in a close-knit circle of friends or like girlfriends or your sisters or whatever, your cycles, your periods will all start at the same time. Like, you'll sync up.
Well, in the Old Testament, didn't they, like, blood, right? Blood was unclean. Mm-hmm. And women who were, during that time of month, like, they couldn't, like, didn't they all separate and go somewhere?
Yeah, the women were all I used to be super, like, butthurt about this. Like, all of the women in the camp would be sent outside of the camp during their periods without the kids, without anyone else. They would have to go outside of the camp for like the 4 or 5 days until they were done with their periods, right? Because it was unclean to be around. And I used to be like, oh, periods aren't unclean and blah, blah, blah. And I'm still like, I don't think that women or femininity or our bodies are unclean or whatever. But I do think that God was kind of doing us a favor. Like,
that's what I was going to say. If everyone's synced up, right? If that's how we're created, so then all the women, right? Because if you start hanging out with someone often, your periods sync up, right? Mm-hmm. If you revert back to Old Testament times, all of those women were close together all the time, so they were all synced up.
Once a month, girl vacation, literally, without the kids.
The husbands had to take care of the kids.
Heck yeah.
It was like let me give you rest for a week. You go.
Right.
Like, get out of the city. You just go PMS on your own. Like, just have support with your girlfriends.
A little campfire.
Yeah.
S'mores action, little salt.
For real. Little
sugar.
Yeah.
All the things.
Like, leave the kids at home. You girls go. Go have a great time.
I say we implement that again.
100%.
I'm down.
If you're synced up with a friend, tell your husband, tell your boyfriend, whoever, like, I gotta go. It's my women's retreat this week,
women, we have, for your sake, men.
For your sake, yes.
We have to leave you here with all the kids.
Because it also says a man is better off in a dry desert by himself than to be at home with quarrelsome and nagging wife. So I know I get real quarrelsome and real naggy when I'm about to start my period. So let me go in the dry desert by myself with my friends.
You know, that also happens to me when I ovulate. So I'm also going to need a few days when I ovulate. So
God, if you want to work that out in new times.
Oh my gosh. It's like when you ovulate, well, for a lot of women, when you ovulate, like, your hormones are doing all kinds of crazy things. So, and then also like a week before your period, and then like also your period. So pretty much the whole month is
Yeah, literally. There's so many different cycles that happen. And you're so up and down.
I was doing research because I was looking up the effects of like sugar and alcohol in the brain and all of that. But I was also looking up the effects of the female hormones on the brain. And it's just crazy, guys. Like, first of all, women are like 10 times more likely to have dementia.
Probably we gotta remember so much all the time, and our brain's just tired.
Yeah, we're the ones that have to remember.
So I'm tapping out. Bye. You don't get to remember nothing no more.
Oh my gosh. Well, I don't.
I'm kidding. That's awful.
Well, it has to do with thyroid hormones, and women struggle with thyroid issues more than men. But estrogen somehow, and then I was teasing you the other day, but this is like a real fact. Like, when a woman's pregnant, her brain literally shrinks while she's pregnant and then stays shrunken for like a year after she's pregnant. That's why they say, oh, pregnancy brain or whatever.
And again, like, I'm so early on, but I was talking to a couple of people and you included, and like this time around, because it's been a good like almost 9 years since it's been 9 years since I've been pregnant, because I will be 9 in October. And like, I don't remember with her being as tired as I am now. But granted, I was 21, 22, just turned 22, and now I'm 30, just turned 31. So there's, a little age gap in there. But then 2, I promise I didn't fart. Like, that's a smell outside. I just hit me.
Clarissa.
It hit me, and I just had to clarify.
The baby's growing, but
no.
Still,
okay, but listen, I did fart at work on Friday because my manager walked away from our desk, and you can leave this in here. My manager walked away from the desk, and I was like, okay, like, I've been holding this farting for like a hot minute, and I farted, and he walked back, and at first he was like, who did that? And I was like, Tyler, you walked away. I was like, you walked away. You weren't here. I'm so sorry. He was like, you are disgusting. He was like, oh my gosh. He literally walked to the other side of the office, and my other coworker who sits across from me, I was like, Gary, has it floated to you? Yeah. He's like, no, I turned on the fan. It like blew towards me. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, but I could not hold it no more. And then I texted in my siblings chat and told them, my little brother was like, your farts have always been foul. Do not blame the baby. But I just was like, hit me, and I'm like, okay, I swear that there's 2 people in the car right now. So I'm like, that was not me. But anyway,
talking about
how the difference is in
yeah.
And so with Evelyn, like, it took a hot minute for my clothes to not fit me, and now every single morning I wake up, I struggle to get dressed because like it just does not fit right, and like nothing fits right, and I'm like, your
uterus remembers.
It's nuts.
I know, it is crazy. It is crazy, but I also think it's different. Like, not necessarily in like the amount of time it takes for your uterus to heal, to grow. But like, as far as like being sleepy during the first trimester, I noticed that with my boys, and this, I don't know if this is even a thing, but there's probably zero science to back this up. But with my boys, I was a lot more tired in my first trimester than I was with my girl. And
maybe I'm having a boy.
Yeah, maybe.
I keep saying boy, but I don't want to be like, I'm having a boy, and then you get the results like, you're having a girl, and I'm like, okay.
There's always that. You don't want to be like disappointed, like either way, like, you're going to be super happy either way, but there's always that inkling, like it. And then you got that shirt that you were going to give me because you accidentally got a shirt that said boy mom, like
because I literally thought it just said mama on it.
Right.
And on the back it said mom, ma, mama, bruh, because everyone calls me bruh all the time, and I was like, oh, this is perfect. And I got it off Shein because I'm awful at Shein, because like, I just buy things, I'm like, oh, it's only $6, so if it doesn't fit, it's fine. I'm awful at returning things.
As a gift.
That's what I do normally. Like, there was one shirt that didn't fit me quite right, and so I reached out to Michelle, Eli and Jack's mom, and I was like, do you want this shirt? She's like, really? I'll pay you. I'm like, no, you're not paying me. I asked you if you wanted it. I didn't ask if you want to buy it off me. I'm like, do you want it? She's like, yes. She wore them the other last Sunday with like these great like burnt orange pants. It like went so great.
Oh,
I'm like, yes.
So awesome. Sisterhood.
Yes, 100%.
Best hood is sisterhood.
Yeah.
I didn't say that as cool as when I heard it the first time, but
but I get the shirt in the mail and I open it and it says boy mama, and I'm like, I'm like, Tiff, you want a shirt? You got boys, I don't. And you literally said, you were like, maybe it's prophecy. Maybe you're going to have a baby boy soon. I'm like, ha ha ha, I'm not pregnant. You weren't even
pregnant, or you didn't know.
I didn't know I was pregnant yet.
Oh, that's crazy.
Isn't that nuts?
Woo!
I know.
Yeah,
so, I mean, we'll see if it's a boy. I'm not sure.
I'll take it.
But
that's awesome. I can't wait to kiss that little baby's face.
I know. But yeah, I know I'm like, okay, at first when Tiff had asked, like, should we share, like, your pregnancy? And I was like, I don't know, it's so early on. But then, one, I've been telling everybody that I see because I'm just super freaking excited. And two, like, I've been praying and asking God for another child for a hot minute. I've just been like, God, like, if it's your will, like, my will wants to be your will, and I'm hoping that your will is me having another child. So, like, not trying hard to push my agenda, but also, you know, like, he knows our heart's desires, right? And, like, he wants to give us the desires of our hearts. You know, I'd imagine, assuming it's in line with kind of his plan as well, right? And so, like, that was my prayer. Like, if it's, you know, in your plan for us, like, if it's the right time, like, I ask, just give me, like, please bless me with another child. I'm like,
I know it's been something that you had, like, since we've met, you've mentioned it every once in a while, but almost in a way where you were, like, afraid to mention it because you were afraid to want it, because you were afraid of not getting it.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Because it's been so long since we had Ev, you know?
Right.
And Mike's been a little indifferent on another child. But also, how indifferent can you be when you're an adult and you know how it works to, like, create a baby and you're not doing exactly. And so I think for him, it was like almost a scared type thing of like, do we want another? Do I want, you know, but it was almost like, okay, if it happens, it happens type thing. And
even when, I mean, if you're taking into consideration of where your house is super cute, but it's
very small.
Very small. Like, you can't
1,000 square feet, 2 bedrooms.
Right. And I can't bring my kids over because I know they'll burn the house
They're always
down
welcome.
in, like, 2 seconds.
I always say it's okay.
Well,
if you want.
you say that, but then once the fish tank is, like, shattered on the floor, then we'll see how welcome they are. But
I would still have them over.
But your new place,
it would give Mike a reason to get the 125 gallon tank that he wants.
Oh, that's true. But then we'd have to, like, chase little flopping fish around and try to, like, save their lives.
But the new house, so Thursday last week, it hit the market. And it hit the market at the value that we were looking to spend for a house. And so we were like, okay, we reached out to a realtor. She's like, yeah, let's get you out there tomorrow and see it. So we went out there that Friday, the next day. Been on the market 24 hours, and it was busy, Tiff. Like, we literally stood outside because there were 2 other groups waiting to view it before we could go in at our appointment time. It was, like, stacked. And I guess it was busy like that all day long. So we were supposed to go at 6:30. And then the realtor reached out and was like, hey, the listing agent asked if we could move it up to 6. And I was like, yeah, that's fine. And then she called me on my way home. She was like, is there any way you guys can move it up to, like, 5:45? Because they've just been so busy all day with showings that, like, they don't want any showings after 6. And so we were like, yeah, we can swing that, make it happen. So literally there were, like, groups of people outside waiting to view this house.
Wow.
It, like, insane.
Well,
and so,
it's beautiful.
Thank you. I absolutely love it. I cannot wait for you to see it in person either.
I can't wait to, like, have a party there.
Yes.
Like,
because there's such a big backyard. If you trash it, you clean it. I'm tired, girl.
Exactly.
And then so we saw it, and at this point, it was literally the 3rd house that we've looked at.
Right.
We only looked at 2 other houses, and we were like, I fell in love with it. Mike liked it, borderline loved it. But then as the more we talked about it, etc., he was like, yeah, I really love that house. And so we were like, let's put an offer in. And we were like, okay, let's do it. We never put an offer in before, but let's do it. So we put the offer in. It went over to the realtor Saturday morning. And the listing agent got back to us, was like, well, there's been like 4 or 5 offers total. One's cash, others are financed. But they're really looking.
There was a cash offer?
There's a cash offer.
Wow.
And she was like, they're really looking forward to getting your offer. And we were like, okay, like, great. And so we get our offer together and we send it over. And within like 20, 30 minutes, our realtor reached out and was like, their listing agent just got back to us. Like, it's out for signature for them to accept your offer. Like, we're good to go. And we were under contract like a week ago from yesterday. So last week, Saturday. And that was in the morning. Yeah. We were like, oh my gosh, we're buying a house. Like, we're going to have 3 bedrooms, like, super excited for us to have like our own office space for the computer go in. And I was like, oh great. Like, I can use that too. Like, when I'm editing podcasts or like making social media stuff, I can have my own space. And then the day went on. We were at our friend's house and I was talking to Kristen and I was like, yeah, I still haven't started my period yet. I was like, I should have started yesterday. And she's like, we need to go get a test. I was like, Tiff said the same thing. So I told you, I was like, I'm gonna go get a test. You said, FaceTime me if that's not weird.
Yeah, is that weird?
And so we get we get 2 tests. Both of them were duds.
Yeah, that was super weird.
I was like,
that
and
was
Kristen,
super weird.
Kristen was like, did you forget how to pee on a stick? It's been so long. I'm like, no, bro, I peed on it fine. I didn't have it tilted up, didn't work. So I was like, well, I'm just gonna get 2 more tomorrow. And then her teenage daughter came home. And she was like, oh my gosh, last week I said that you guys were going to have a baby, I swear. She goes, I'll go and get you more tests. And I'm like,
all the women.
I'm like, fine, Haley, if you want to drive, you can take my car.
Tests,
I know, literally. So she went and got another thing of them. And then Kristen was like, pee in a cup this time and we'll dip the stick. You're not peeing on the stick anymore. You don't know how. I'm like, it was a test.
I told you to do that. I told you to get one of Mike's shot glasses.
Oh, that's right. And Kristen goes, it would have been my shot glass. I still peed in one of her cups, so thank you, Haley, for cleaning that. But I should have cleaned that glass myself.
You didn't clean
No,
your
they did
glass.
it for me. They were so sweet.
That's so sweet. That only women would do that.
I know. I guess I just thought of that. I'm like, oh. Anyway, pee in the cup. And then Haley was like, not to like overstep or be weird, but can I dip the stick in the cup? And I was like, sure, Haley.
He
did. Because I didn't get to face it.
Like
and so she's counting. She's like, it says 20 seconds. So she's literally 1, 2, 3, like making sure she's doing it properly. And so, that gets done. And I was like, well, with Ev, I was like, the second it started filling up, the second it was positive. Literally no quicker than me saying those words. Haley goes, oh my gosh. And then Kristen goes, oh my gosh. I'm like, it's negative? And they're like, no, it's positive. I'm like, what? And this was at night, like
so
diluted pee.
Right.
So then we told Mike, and Mike's like, oh, well, you need to take another. And I was like, well, I've been chugging water, which the instructions say don't do that. But I did it anyway. So I was like, well, I have to pee again. So then I don't know why I didn't use the same cup. So then Haley gets me this mug, and the mug, a coffee mug, but the mug, she handed it to me. I look at it. It says, you've got this. I'm like,
you've got this, girl.
I'm like, okay. So I do it again.
Encouragement.
And positive immediately. And then we were like, oh my gosh, we're buying a house and we're having a baby.
And the house that you're buying has 3 bedrooms instead of 2 bedrooms. So it's perfect.
And it's almost double.
Yeah, and it has a huge backyard.
Yes, it does.
It's awesome.
It's amazing. And so, that morning when we put the offer out, I was praying to God, and I was just like, God, if it's your will, like this house, like if it's the house that is meant for us, that you want us to have, like literally face to the ground, I'm like, just let it be. I said, and if not, it's okay. Like, because I know there's going to be something different and better that you have in store. Like, I'm good either way. And like literally within 30 minutes of that, it was like house. And then later on, a couple hours, it was like baby. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Like, he's a God of suddenlies.
Like, you hear my prayer.
Yeah. It's those moments in life where like you can feel God seeing you.
Yeah.
Like, you can feel his eyes on you, that they give you the courage for the rest of your life. Like,
right.
And every moment you're looking forward to that next moment where you feel like he sees you.
Right. Absolutely. And so that's why, like, even though I'm super early on, I'm like, no, I'm shouting it out because it's his glory. Like, it's nothing that I've done. It's him, like, it's just him providing for his children, and like for our mortgage that we're going into, like, it's going to be a higher monthly payment than what we're used to now.
Right.
And then now having a baby, that's even more financial. And so I'm just trusting him, and I literally said to him, I said, listen, like, we are so far out of our financial comfort zone, but I'm not stressed or worried about it at all, because like he would not have brought us to this point and put us in this place if he didn't have a plan on how we were going to be able to make it through it. Like, right. Because it's going to be by his provision. It's going to be by his guidance. It's going to be by, his, his being there and leading it, that we're going to be fine.
Right.
And Absolutely. Meanwhile, my husband, Mike's been kind of, he's like, oh my gosh. And now we got this. And I'm like, it'll be good. It'll be fine.
It's going to be okay.
It's going to be okay. Yeah. And so it's just been a whirlwind of a week. Absolute whirlwind of a week.
That's so awesome.
In the best way.
I'm so happy for you guys.
Thank
it's going to be, what the Bible says, that God gives us blessings without any curses added to them. And I used to kind of think of God, like, this sounds horrible, but what's that one dude's name? Rumple.
Skillskin?
What is it?
Rumpelstil.
I always say
Rumple-
foreskin. Rumpelstil.
Did you say foreskin?
I always want to say that. Like, I don't know why when I'm trying to think of his name.
Rumpelstiltskin.
That guy.
I think.
Well, the thing with him is he'll like make deals with people.
Oh yeah.
But like his deals, like he'll give you like your wildest dreams, but they're always like super twisted and end up like ruining your life, right?
Oh yeah.
So sometimes like when I mean not now, but I used to when I would pray to God, I used to like when I would ask him for some of the things that I wanted, my heart's desires, I'd feel like I'd have to clarify, but not if this is going to happen and not if that's not if it's, you know, like, and like God gives us blessings without any curses added to it.
Yeah.
So if he gives you something, then you shouldn't be bracing yourself for, okay, what is this going to cost me? Like, you know, like what is going to happen? What punishment, what curse is this going to bring? Like, no, that's not our God. Our God is good. And he also talks about if, you know, if your kid asks for an egg, would you give him a snake? You know, like if your kid asks for something, would you give him something that's bad?
Right.
And then he said, how much better of a father am I than you? How much better gifts will I give my children than you give yours? You know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean,
I love that.
This is going to be something where, yes, like having a baby in a new home, that does require growth and you might feel a little stretching, but he always gives you things to strengthen you.
Yeah.
And he tests you to prove you, not to fail you.
I love that.
And
absolutely.
Yeah. And he's also a God where if you take the test and you fail,
you give it to you again.
Yeah, you just take it again. There's no getting out of those tests.
It's like fine, you can have a retake, redo.
Right. And that's a good thing, but sometimes it's also like annoying, if I could say that.
Why is this going on again?
Yeah, like if you failed the first time, you don't worry, you'll get a chance to take it again, whether you like it or not. And the next time, you know, be a little stronger, you'll be a little stronger, a little more level-headed and be able to pass the test, hopefully.
Yeah. So. Absolutely. And I think back to, you know, when we had Evelyn, we were both very young. I was 22. He was 24. We were making maybe a combined like $40,000 a year, if that.
Wow.
And we had a home. It was like 900 square feet, 2-bedroom. And then I'd switched jobs because I was working at Quicken Loans. I was working like 6 days a week. And after my maternity leave, I was like, there's no way I can leave her for 12 hours. Like, no. So I sent a really beautiful letter of resignation, said, sorry, I can't come back. Then I got a different job, but it came with a pay cut. And when I was about 8 months old, we moved back in with my mom. We lived in her basement. And my little sister, Maddie, and her boyfriend lived upstairs. And then Alicia was still in high school, so she lived there too. And then there was my mom.
That's a lot.
So, like, we were living in my mom's basement, not making a ton of money. Like, my checks every 2 weeks were like $500. Like, what is even that?
Yeah.
Thankfully, my older sister, Donna, watched Evelyn for us. So, like, otherwise I would have been working just to pay daycare.
Right, exactly.
And that was in August of 2016. And then we ended up moving out here to Arizona in March of 2017. And it's been a world of a difference ever since.
Yeah. Well, I'm just speaking over you, both exponential increase financially and spiritually. I know that it's been kind of cool to see just the group of people, the community of people who love God surround you guys and bless you guys in every way that they can, and have people who may have questions about God looking on to that. Right. Because when people say, oh God, show them your love, show them your love, show them your love, how do you think God's going to show them his love? Like, who is he going to use? You. Right. Right. He's not, you're not waiting for him to just like shower down, like, I don't know, everything that he's calling us to be his hands and us to be his feet. So when you're asking God to show people the love of God, he's saying, yeah, show people. He's like, yeah, go for it. Like, you have the means, you have the time, you have the ability. In fact, that's the one thing that we're called to do. Not like, you know, ministry is great, and ministry is a faucet to pour the love of God into people's lives.
Pastor Khaled said today, ministry is serving. You serve others. through ministry.
through love, you know,
Yeah. Yes.
not like a sense of importance or a
Right.
sense of purpose,
Yes.
but to serve people. And sometimes that doesn't mean that it comes in like a structured something that you're going to check off
I
your box.
need a
And
structured settlement and I need cash now. Call
you
JG
need help
Wentworth.
with your IDD,
My IDD, what is
And
it?
my
ID
dyslexia.
channel? ID channel, freaking murder mystery. Sorry.
It's been more than 2
I
years
have
since
a
I had
structured
Finn, so
settlement
my
and
brain should
I
be normal
need
now.
cash now. Call
Anyway, you are
JG
okay. That's
Wentworth.
derailing the conversation.
Sorry, I'm so
I was talking about the love of God. Thank you very much.
But you said it doesn't need to be structured. Go ahead, continue. But when you said structured, I thought of structured settlement. And I
Good.
need cash now.
Okay.
Call JG
I need
Wentworth.
cash now as well. So
877 cash now. Anyway,
wow.
you said it doesn't have to be a structured serving of people.
Yeah. What I
Ministry.
mean is that I think sometimes we just wait, or maybe we think that if we're serving God as far as I'm helping usher at the church. I'm helping with the kids at the church. So we forget to show love to our neighbor, or maybe not even forget, but kind of think like, have you ever given to charity and then like see someone begging and you're like, oh, I already gave to charity, so I don't need to give to you. Like, I mean, I've done that, definitely done that. Like I just gave to charity, you know, I gave to this other person. So I want to make sure that I don't forget that there's people at my work that need the love of God, that need me to be compassionate and need me to be deliberate and purposeful about displaying the love of God in my attitude and my mannerisms and the way that I treat them and the way that I'm aware of, hey, if they're having a bad day, do they need a shoulder to lean on? Do they need someone to talk to? Do they need a few dollars like that I might be able to provide them with, you know?
Right.
So just being alert and aware of what's going on in your life, not just the going to church, doing this, doing that, you know, going to Bible study.
Well, being aware of what's an alerts going on with your life versus those in your life that you can pour into.
Yeah, also those in your, like your kids. Like
being like so self-focused on you and self that you miss the boat on being able to identify those in your life.
That's one thing I learned that, or like I went to that conference last week and that was like the first lesson, right? That at the conference was about being a better mom and not putting your kids on the back burner to ministry. Right. Because it was a women's conference. But I was super annoyed that the first lesson at a women's conference was about being a better mom. I was like, I went across the country. Just kidding. It was California.
Stayed away.
But yeah, I went a state away, took an airplane. And I'm here and I left my 5 children at home. And now you're telling me that I need to not neglect them. Like, so I was like, thanks. And then the second thing was be a better wife. And I'm like, are you
I left my husband with all my children.
I know.
Well, it's just throwing it back to Old Testament times. All the husbands were left with them for a good 5-7 days until we were done bleeding. So,
well, I'm ovulating right now. So he wants me to be around when I'm ovulating. Just kidding. Sorry. TMI. All right.
Are you going to have another with me?
No.
Goodbye.
I got mine. No.
You gotta make it even 6.
No, even
Come
6.
on.
6 is not a good number. If I had another one, I'd have to have 2 more.
Oh, well,
6 is the devil's
7,
number.
Okay, well, 7 is the number of completion.
Number of completion.
What's 5?
5 is a good number that is perfect because 5 is a good number, the number of kids I have. I got my tubes
tied.
No, not tied. Taken out.
Bye.
Like they recommend you get them taken out now, not tied.
Oh, really?
Because tying leaves more scar tissue.
Oh.
So, but you can't reverse that. Like if you were to have more kids, I'd have to have them take my egg and like put it in my uterus. Like you can't open up those pathways anymore. Yeah. So that's a done deal, and I do not regret it at all. I'm very happy about that decision, and I love and adore every single one of my children, and I'm happy.
Yes.
But I honestly, I wouldn't mind adopting though. Like, I wouldn't mind adopting like a 3-year-old little girl.
Yeah.
Give Nova a little baby sister.
See, I've always thought about, I would love to foster. I feel like it'd be very challenging emotionally because obviously they, oftentimes don't stay with you forever because that would be adoption. But I would love to foster like teenagers, older children.
My parents were we were a foster family growing up.
Were you?
Drink, sorry.
That's okay. But yeah, I feel such like a pull and ache, I don't know how you want to phrase it, in my heart for, teenagers that are in foster care, especially as they're approaching the age of 18, because they age out, and a lot of them, you know, feel scared that it's like, now who I'm out of this program, like where do I go? And to be that safe space even after they're aged out of foster care, to know like, hey, you always have a spot here, you always have a home here.
Right. Yeah.
Not saying that other foster families who take care of the older kids don't provide that, right? I'm sure there are, but like that would be my focus with it.
That's the thing, is there's so many messed up, like, I mean, we definitely need more foster families, because there's so many messed up ones out there that do it for a paycheck.
Right.
Like, I've heard horrible stories about that. I had some relatives that were in the foster care system for a long period of time, and and it was long story. I can't even really. Well, okay, so they stayed at our house, but their biological mom had kind of a problem with them staying with us because we were Christian, and that was a problem for her. Because she was mad at God first and things, but which some terrible things that I probably would be mad at God for as well. But now there's been a lot of healing, and but I've heard horrible stories about what happens in some of these foster care homes. And I have heard some good stories as well, like some genuine families who like love those kids as much as they can, and no one's perfect, right? No one's perfect. Of course. But having someone choose to love you when you're not blood, like that makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, yeah, so this women's conference was just so interesting, because that was like the first two things. And then the last, like, I had like 5 points, but so this is what I meant by it was exhausting, because the first day or two was like really breaking you down, right?
Yeah.
They talked about, hey, like, your life and your purpose is not about your dreams. Like, it's not about your dreams and what the purpose for your life is. It's what God's purpose for your life is. It's about God's dream for your life. And you're not the center. You're not the center of God's being. You know, you are a drop in the ocean. And that was, I mean, it's really humbling, and it doesn't feel good to be told that. Like, we are the apple of his eye, but we're not the center of the universe.
Right.
You know what I mean? And God knows the plans he has for us, plans for good, to give us a hope and a future. But his plan is for the good for humanity, for mankind, not just for us specifically. Right. And if we can't learn to love each other and consider each other as better than ourselves, then we are not going to be able to be on board with his plan. Right. Because we're still the center of our own desires, you know? So
selfishness is the groundwork for sin.
Self-seeking ambition as well. That was a big one for me. Like, you know, you want the spotlight, you want to be famous. Why? Like, why? You want to feel special? Is that what it is? You want to feel special? Well, you're not. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, you are, but you're special to God
regardless.
You're special to God as part of the bride of Christ.
Yeah.
Not as somebody that's separate from the bride of Christ. Tiffany. Right. Not just Tiffany alone, but I play a very important, valued role in the body of Christ as a collaboration with the body of Christ, you know?
Not separately, independently.
Right.
How Lucifer, that's what he was trying to do, was, I'm myself, right? He separated. And Pastor Cal talked a lot about this today, actually. I mean, I know you weren't in service.
I was in kids, watching the kids.
Yeah, he tried to separate himself and isolate himself, and through that, and through comparing, right, and being like, I'm better than, right, he ended up forever separating.
Right. Yeah, well, and we kind of grew up with a very individualistic mind frame, like as a collaboration of Western society, like you're special, like and I'm not saying you're not special, that's not what I'm saying, but what I'm saying is that we have such a narrow viewpoint of our life, and we think that we're the main story in the story of humanity, and we're not.
Right.
And there's so many people across the world, even now, like we not even thinking about the millions and millions and billions of people who have come before us, you know, but thinking about the people that exist alongside us in this timeline, in this world right now, as we speak, but across the country, across the world,
Right.
raised by different family, like even in America, like there's
Yeah.
people that you would not even be able to fathom the life that they've had, the life that they're living right now, the things that they've gone through. You wouldn't be able to understand it because it's just so outside of what we have deemed normal.
Yeah.
And I think that that's God's heart. He wants us to see that. He wants us to take that into consideration. And when all we're thinking about is my own experiences, my truth,
Right.
instead of the truth,
Ooh.
then it separates us from that bigger, broader, more
God.
expansive picture, you
Yeah.
know?
Absolutely.
But anyway, so
100%.
I'm still digesting it all right now. Like honestly, today I've been battling a little bit. Like yesterday and today, like just a little sadness because it is like, I don't know, like I know it's good and I know it's truth and I know that God sometimes has to break toxic mindsets down in your heart before he can build the new thing that he wants to build. So I'm waiting for the blueprints for the new thing. That's what I'm waiting for. And I'm starting a fast tomorrow. So I'm looking forward to getting that download of those blueprints and looking on in anticipation to what that's going to look like in my life.
It's going to be great.
It is going to be great.
It's going to be bigger and better than you would ever try and think or plan for yourself in your own life.
There's always going to be so much more joy. There's always going to be so much more joy when you, one thing I realized, like people ask, what is it about being in God's presence that makes you feel so good? It's like a drug. It's better than any drug, right? When you feel like, when you are feeling God's presence, it's better than any drug you could ever do. And it's kind of like a combination of all of them. You feel hyped, like you can do anything. You feel like complete peace and serenity and joy. But one thing that I notice is that the thing that sums all of those things up is that you feel the most complete.
Yeah.
Like, this is where I belong.
Yeah, you don't think of anything else. It's just like, okay, like I'm here and everything I need is here.
Right.
Like,
and
there's
this is
nothing else.
Everything I am is like, yeah, it's just a complete sense of wholeness and peace and belonging and just, it's like that fire that you get when you start doing something that you're really, really good at.
Yeah.
And you're really passionate about.
Right.
It's like that, but just on a different level.
Yeah.
So anyway, I say all that to say that, you know, I know that whatever it is, even though right now it kind of hurts because of the breakdown part, you know, that part never feels good. But I'm really excited because I know God. I know God.
Yeah.
And I know that he has such amazing, incredible things in store for me as an individual, but also for me as a part of the bride of Christ, as a bigger picture. And I'm really excited about that.
Yes.
Whew.
It's going to be great.
It is going to be great. And you're going to be
can't
great.
wait.
You are great. And your baby's great.
Oh, thanks. And everyone watching is great.
Yes. Or listening.
Or yeah, listening, watching, following along, read along. I guess you can't really read along.
Unless you have the subtitles or whatever on.
Oh yeah. I live with subtitles. I cannot watch nothing without subtitles. But if you have anything to share too, like any praise reports, any prayer requests, like anything that, you know, we can do to help you out as well. You know, whether it's pray for you, over you, with you, answer any questions that you have, like just being a safe place to vent, you know, or get advice from, or just be like, hey, I just need a place to someone to listen, you know, not even respond. Please reach out. Like,
yeah. Or even if you have something to comment on.
Yeah, comment on, share on, whatever the case
you know
is.
Why
like
women's brains are interesting.
Yeah, or why we sync up, or why any of that works. Like, we're not here for ourselves. Like, we're here for everyone, you know. So utilize us as a resource. Don't be afraid to reach out.
Why is everything you say sounds like a sing song?
My sister's calling
Madison,
me.
hello.
Oh,
okay.
no.
Love you guys. Bye.
Bye.
Mwah.